Good morning all. It is 8:30 on Easter morning and somebody wanted to know how I plant out from a seed tray. So having just remembered while I'm planting out, here is a tray full of scabiosa ping pong and I pricked them out. So these were sown on the 13th or 14th of February, pricked out probably a month later, and a month later they're being planted up. And you can see they've made nice big plants. And I just, it's not rocket science, I dig a hole. I dig a little row of holes with my handy tool. And I scoop my seedling out of my tray in a handful like that. I have always watered the tray of seedlings before I plant out and then put it in the ground like this and pull the earth back round it and plant it. It's really very important to water after you've planted a tray of seedlings. Mine are going in about a 9-inch spacing, and I plant them as blocks. It occurred to me, have a little think while I plant, that flower farming, the more like a traditional garden a flower farm looks, the less efficient it is as producing flowers, because it's time consuming having a trad garden. So my garden looks quite pretty. My flower farm looks quite pretty. It is quite gardenish. I plant at a time about maximum about 30 seedlings, which isn't very many for each individual crop, but I'm not selling as a wholesaler. I'm growing bouquets for my retail bouquet business, like a CSA, well, it's not, some of my customers are CSA customers, but some are, you know, just occasionals. But in any case, my business is a retail bouquet business. It may change a little over the next year or two, but that's where we are at the moment. And I think for anybody thinking about flower farming or considering their farm, or, you know, thinking about backyard farming of any kind, it's really worth not just looking at what other people do and comparing yourself, or thinking you have to grow like them. You can grow however you like, and you can sell your product however you like, so long as you can make enough of it. I had a lovely conversation. There's a colleague of mine, a girl who runs an amazing, what I would call a slow business, in that her business is thoughtful and incredibly creative, and it's a simple, it's like her business is facilitating other people to live a simpler life with creative goals thrown in. And she's called Snapdragon online. Have a look if you like. And she has a club. It's a very simple setup. And she came for breakfast the other day. We've been talking to each other for 12 years on Twitter. We made friends on Twitter years and years ago. And we have a little mutual admiration society thing going on. And we were talking about small businesses. And she said, what you've got to do is work out what is your enough. And I think not enough people do that. So you've got to work out what is your enough, and then work back from that to make sure that you can make enough. So when you look at how people grow and the way that they set out their plots, it is worth assuming that they have worked out what their enough is, and that they're working towards that. And then you need to work out what your enough is. And then you can see what kind of a grower that you might want to be. And it might be very different from me or any of the other flower farmers who you see, or growers of any kind, people who are farming their backyards of any kind. So Anyway, there you go. That's my Sunday morning, Easter morning think. On we go. I better water this lot in. Right, so that's a bit of planting out done. 3 more trays of sweet peas to go in, but the netting's up, so we're halfway there. I've got to go and water a little bit of people in the greenhouse and the polytunnel, and then it's time for church. Because if you live in a village, even if you're not religious, I think Easter church is something to go to, don't you? Just say hello to your neighbours and enjoy the children scampering around the churchyard looking for Easter eggs and feeling celebratory with everybody, especially on a morning like this. Anyway, better get on, but I'll take you for a proper tour later and show you around. Easter weekend for me is always a huge deal because I get 4 consecutive days when I'm not having to do any of the other work. So I can get masses done in the garden, and I kind of keep it separate, and I don't agree to do fairs or anything else because while I have stock to sell and I sell it slowly, 4 consecutive days of no disturbance is a really big deal. I mean, I know I'm disturbed by going to church and we'll have a big Sunday lunch, but the phone's not ringing, I don't have to answer emails, all of that stuff. I get a lot done over Easter weekend on my little flower farmer. Right, come on then, I'll see you later. Right, let's go for a quick spin around the garden. It's the end of the bank holiday. We've had a 4-day weekend, and I'll show you what I've got going on here. In the distance there, you can see Fabrizio, and he's just getting the water going on the sweet peas I planted out earlier. Obviously now, the forecast is 2 degrees, so it might freeze. Very annoying. So this is our very classic Fabrizio Bocca acme watering system, which is basically a leaky pipe setup, and drip, 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 drip. The sweet peas will get a good old watering, and then we will probably move this in a little while once they're really settled in. And it's very basic but cheap. Here are the seeds I sowed the other day, and they're not quite germinating yet, but it's only been about 12 days, so we'll give them a little bit more time. But at the end of this row, here are the acme majors. This is acme visnaga here, and this is acme majors, fattening up nicely where they've been planted out. Here come some Canterbury bells, lots of foxgloves. It's been very dry, everything could do with the water, so I'm hoping for some rain. Candy tuft seedlings. This is Rebecca, and I think it's Irish Eyes. And this is Nicotiana Sensation, next door to the Honesty Corfu Blue, Linaria Corfu Blue. I will be growing this again. And the white Honesty, which I love. And then on we go, some fabulous tulips. It's been very dry, but they're all coming along, and we're cutting them, or digging them up rather, as they come. So we're going to nice big digging up tomorrow morning. Look at that, aren't they gorgeous? These lot. These are not what I ordered, so I haven't cut them because they're not really my colour, but I love these ones. and they've all got mixed up. But yes, please. Lots more foxgloves coming. So it's that time of year where there are little patches of planted out seedlings everywhere in rather odd shapes. And in the distance, there's the crabapple blossom, which is really fantastic. I'll go and stand underneath it and we'll see if we can hear the bees. There are always bees in the crabapples. I have to say, I have these trees again and again and again. I love them so much. And here we have annuals about to burst into flower in the tunnel. They're ahead of themselves. The ranunculus have been bumbling along here, down this side. And there's some quite hefty looking larkspur beginning. I think there's a bud in there. Yes. And then at the end here, if I walk down, it's not in focus. I wonder why. Very odd. And here are the potted up dahlias. And you think, gosh, they haven't done anything at all. But then you get your eye in and suddenly you see little green buds all over the place. Just beginning. So soon this will be a mass of dahlia shoots. Look, there they are. Oh yes, here they come. And then these are the seeds I sowed the other day in a video that we made. So these were sown on the 5th of April. And until they're really up, I keep them covered up. But once they're all germinated, then I uncover them and soon these will be pricked out. Outside of the big tunnel here is one of my, it's a mixture of bulbs and late summer perennials. Look, wild bluebells. Very pretty for my wedding in a week or so. And then look, there's a sort of strip of perennial phlox coming up here. And over there, that big clump of camassia. And then the gilly orchard, named for my mother, who gave us the trees, googie, where the cowslips and the fritillaries have been humming around. I love that. They're very, very beautiful. We planted the cowslips, my friend Anne and I planted the cowslips years ago. They shouldn't really do well here, but they're very happy. And then in a shady patch in this second polytunnel underneath a peach tree is a collection of dahlia cuttings. I've got more to take. Back round this way, admiring the incredible apple blossom, crab apple blossom as we go again. And then on we go. I must water that tree. It came from a friend the other day, a seedling. And here is the big meadow, which at the moment is full of cowslips and fritillaries. But if I take you down here, you will see, I'll get my eye in, look, there are hundreds of orchids, hundreds of them, all the way through the meadow. This is Fabrizio's life work, and it's quite an achievement, given that when we first came here in 2004, all of the grass here was thick ryegrass for feeding cattle, and he has single-handedly weakened all the grass and helped establish a great colony of wildflowers all the way around the place, including kingcups in a mini pond. Can't have too many kingcups in a mini pond. And look at these camassia, they're fantastic. I love the blue. And can you see there's a hatch of little midges? They'll feed the birds tonight. And this little treasure in my shady beds is budding up. This is Telema flora, which I love cut. It sends up really beautiful tall spikes of white bells, but not yet. Another week or so before we get any Telema. And up here, this patch is a patch where you often see me taking a photograph in the early morning, because the light is often lovely behind those poplars. And there are my roses on the right over there, and here we have lots and lots of perennials, and the alliums are coming along a treat. That's the last of the pheasant grass for using. It's just, this is all perennials and shrubs up here. It's a really great patch, full of all sorts of goodies, and through the season it changes kind of weekly. This is my my smoke bush budding up, kind of. No, you can't see it there, tiny bit. Don't you love how Fabrizio really loves to get the mower out just when I'm trying to film? Look, he's coming closer and closer, but I'm not allowed to film him because he's very camera shy. I expect he's going to come and run me over in the mower in a minute. So yeah, this patch is called the lady smock, after a particular wildflower, which I can show you because Fabrizio's now driven away on his mower, and I have spotted some of this very wild flower. It's quite nice having these paths mown, because although it looks very untidy, a mown path makes everything look intentional. And here is the lady smock, little tiny friend here. Very beautiful. And here we have a sort of a woodland walk made between the willows, which I cut for our Christmas wreaths. And slowly the bulbs are establishing themselves here. It took me a really long time after we planted all the trees here, and then I had to think, it took me literally years to go, oh, now I might plant some bulbs in amongst the trees. So very slowly all these things happen, but you can't make a garden overnight. You can only make a garden very, very slowly. There is lovely dahlia just popping up in the shade here. It's that time of year when, if you look around, you'll find little blocks of pots of plants waiting to be planted out. These little friends are Japanese anemones. And then here, back in the studio, we still have more dahlias to take cuttings from, but that's going to be a job for tomorrow now. And look, newly emptied seed trays means seeds to plant out. Not all of them, but my cobia scandens got frosted, so I'm going to re-sow the cobia. And I realised, with a rush of blood to the head, that I hadn't sown any antirrhinums, any snapdragons, for this season, so that's rubbish. So I ordered some up quickly from my friends at Children's Seeds. And I need some Bells of Ireland, and here is the white cobia. I'm going to put that in. And while I was ordering seeds, I got ahead, so I've ordered some biennials, which I'll sow in June. And I still have more annuals to sow this year. I haven't sown any cosmos yet. I wait for my cosmos and my all sorts of things that go in late. So there you go, a little tour of the flower farm this April Bank Holiday Monday. There's nothing like a 4-day weekend to get everything done. Well, kind of get a good deal done in the garden. This, in the UK, we have a kind of, it's one after another of 3 or 4 day weekends, starting with the Easter weekend, and then we get May Bank Holiday, and then we get another Bank Holiday at the end of May, and then this year we're getting a 4-day Bank Holiday for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, although I think we'll all be under pressure to party, not garden. But every year I'm grateful for this 4-day weekend because I can really kind of catch up with myself a little bit. Anyway, back to my point I was making at the beginning of this clip. I think it's really, really important to consider that there are as many ways to grow flowers for sale as there are almost grains of sand on a beach. And it's really useful to look at how other people do it, but never, ever assume that because somebody else is growing flowers for sale in one way that you have to copy them or do it the same way. I love my friend Snapdragon Jane's approach of considering, before you consider anything else, what is your enough? And once you know what that figure is, you can work back from that and see whether growing flowers is something which can make you enough. And enough is enough, enough. You know, the point of this exercise is to make an eco-environment where invertebrates flourish. Inadvertently, I realised, you know, we've been in here since 2004, that we've made a carbon sink. That field we've just walked around with all the trees and the hedges was an empty space with nothing in it but ryegrass for feeding cattle and mean fencing. There were no trees, there were no hedges. And so for us, that's the point. But, you know, a different kind of flower farmer might not be interested in trees and hedges, might be growing as many flowers so they can scale up as possible. Or another kind of flower farmer might be growing on a much smaller scale. I had a lovely student here the other day who has a front garden. She's having a baby and she's got a good sized front garden in front of her little house in a little town. And she said, can I just grow dahlias in my front garden and sell them? And I said, you certainly can. You won't make a fortune, but if it gives you enormous pleasure and it makes you a little bit and it pays for your garden, and it'll teach you on the job so that when the baby is a little bit bigger and you've got a little bit more time, you can expand your operation or not. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this session, please do subscribe to the channel. Press the bell icon and we'll tell you when we've got more clips coming out. If any of the tips and tricks we've given you over the session are useful, please do buy me a coffee. The link is in the blurb for all the clips. And thanks very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.